Okay, we begin. We're going to do the daily chakras. Not daily, the Shabbat chakras Amidah, the center, page 377. Our goal is to go from mumbling to meaning. Mumbling to meaning. You want to be a meaningful davener? Where's the mumbler?
I got a Cliff Notes version.
Well, look at you.
Cheater.
And then we are going to, in your art scroll stone Umashim, we're going to take a look at 490. So you can keep two books nestled one upon the other.
This is the advanced one.
Well, this is a fellowship. You know, we're doing two books simultaneously. We're doing nestling one upon the other. All right. We're ready for action. Okay. So let's begin. So this is the davening that we do at MGE every Shabbos morning, the Amidah. We actually do this to ourselves. So let's just read this out loud. Who would like to read the English? Moshe rejoiced. Justin, Bavakasha.
Moshe rejoiced in the gift of his portion, that you called him a faithful servant. The crown of splendor you placed on his head when he stood before you on Mount Sinai. He brought down 2 stone tablets in his hand, on which is inscribed the observance of the Sabbath. And so it was written in your Torah. And the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to make the Sabbath for their generations, an eternal covenant. Between me and the children of Israel it is a sign forever, that in 6 days Hashem made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. And you did not give it, Hashem our God, to the nations of the lands, nor did you make it the inheritance, our King, of the worshippers of graven idols. And in its contentment the uncircumcised shall not abide. For to Israel your people have you given it in love, the seed of Jacob whom you have chosen. The people that sanctifies the 7th, they will all be satisfied and delighted from your goodness. And the 7th you found favored and sanctified it. Most coveted of days you called it, remembrance of the act of creation.
Oh, it's positive. Then the rest of it is the same as it is for all 3 Amidot. Okay. So in contrast to the Friday night davening, there's a brand new theme here. If you had to say, somebody asked you, I have the attention span of 4 seconds, what is the theme of the Friday night Amidah? And you only have 4 seconds to express it, because that's how much I care. You meet most people like that.
Keeping Shabbos?
Friday night is about keeping Shabbos? No.
But if we want to...
Oh, I'm looking at Shabbos. So Friday.
Yeah. Right. Shabbos is focusing on celebrating God as creator. Celebrating God as creator. Period. End of story. It's similar to the Kiddush, but it has a requesting because it's a prayer. Okay, that's Friday night. Now, is creation mentioned at all? It is mentioned, but is that the focus here?
No.
So what is the focus?
The focus is that it was given to Jewish people specifically as with the Torah as something that we have to kind of keep and as a covenant.
So there's 2 words. There's a bris, a covenant, which we have to know what that is, and an oath, a sign. So Shabbos is one of the few mitzvot. There's not that many, which actually have sort of a double identity, which is an oath, a sign, and a bris, a covenant. What else is a mitzvah that also has those 2 terms apply to it?
Circumcision.
Circumcision, yes. It's both an oath, it's a sign, and a covenant. Okay, the word covenant is a very fancy word. What does it mean in regular English?
Like a deal.
Yeah, it's a deal. So, it's not. It's a deal, but it has more than. It's a deal plus. There is a deal, but there's one element of it that makes it go from it just being, then just call it a deal.
I know it's like a legally binding agreement.
So. Okay, so then call it a kinyan.
Both sides have to give something?
Well, that's a deal. A deal is that there always has to be consideration. We got the who would like to take care of the. Okay, so what is it? Let's finish off this point, and then we'll take a break. What is the difference between every deal is by definition, in order for it to be a deal, it has to be legally binding. What good is a deal if it's not legally binding? A deal.
Does it last forever?
That's exactly right. It's a deal that obligates and is connected to multiple generations.
I wish I had a covenant with my job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the key a covenant means that it extends beyond multiple lives, many generations. So put it very simply, it's a multi-generational agreement. So typically you have a covenant between two countries because one person's not going to live more than one lifetime. You could say that we, for example, the United States and Canada, we're not going to go for war against each other. We're not, that's a multi-generational thing. So the bris, which we're going to actually go into the Chumash, is all the thing of Shabbat is also called as well. I'm not taking a pause for the sushi. So let's discuss. Let's take a look at page 490 in your handy dandy art scroll. And let's back it up a couple of verses before the part which is quoted in the Amidah. Verse 12, page 491. All right, Mercy, you want to read the Hebrew, the English?
Hashem said to Moshe, saying, "Now you speak to the children of Israel, saying, however, you must observe my Sabbath, for it is the sign between me and you for generations. To know that I am Hashem who makes you holy."
All right, stop right there. So the first dimension of this is that Hashem is informing the Jewish people here. He already had told them about Shabbos in the Aseret Dibros and the Ten Commandments earlier. But he says that this is a sign between me and your children, your generations, to know that I'm Hashem, that I am Hashem who makes you holy. Mikadshkem. What do you think that means? What? Well, holy doesn't mean separate. But specifically, then you can say, well, doesn't every mitzvah make you more holy? Because he's saying specifically the Shabbos. And not only that, but it's a sign, in other words, that communicates that concept. It's a communication of that point as well.
It's kind of tracing it. It's a way to trace it all the way back to this moment.
What do you mean?
Like, we're still doing this today, and I think about this a lot, about how someone couldn't have just decided this one day, and everyone's like, okay, we're going to do it. Like, it seems like it.
Right. To get buy-in, to stop you doing your daily living, your daily labor, there's tremendous resistance against doing that.
Right.
Correct. In fact, I want to share with you, I'm just sharing a article from the Toledo Blade Sports, picked up by Chabad, about Naama Shafir. She's one of the very, very few Orthodox Division I athletes. My son plays Division III on NYU basketball, and that's pretty impressive basketball. But Division I is serious. You're a serious athlete if you're doing that already. And she was not only that, she was recruited from Israel because she was playing on their high school league. She was drafted from Israel and given a full academic scholarship, which is true for Division I. And they accommodated her not practicing on Shabbos, and they're calling her, and she's keeping Shabbos, and she kept Shabbos. So which is tremendous commitment and resolve on her part. So here's there's two dimensions. One point here is that we say that Hashem is saying that I'm giving you the Shabbos to guard, to keep, for it's a sign between you and your children for future generations to know that I'm Hashem who makes you holy. In other words, that the schedule of the Shabbos itself is designed, as we use the term spiritual retreat, there to make you to show, not just to have, but to demonstrate that you have built into your life 1/7 of your life is a day organized for growth and development, and which is for growing in Kedusha, growing in being more elevated. So, and not only is that what it is, but really that becomes a symbol of what? Of the entire mandate of Judaism. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's the first thing. In other words, Shabbos is not just a mitzvah, it is really the mitzvah that shows real major Kedusha. That you have 1/7 of your life, which is dedicated, scheduled, locked in, blocked out for real development. And that's the first aspect of the sign. So that shows that's one. And in fact, and you'll notice people say, and the mark of the Jew in this case is being what? Shomer Shabbos. That is the mark. Now let's keep on. We're going to develop this more. I want to skip. Yeah, question.
Do Shomers, people who are Shomer Shabbat, do they still struggle? Is this like once you become busy, still a struggle? To always do Shabbat and still.
Yes. What happened? It is a struggle, but but the question is, but what can happen is what you're struggling about will migrate and change. You're always going to struggle. To be a human is a struggle, period, full stop. What you're struggling about as you develop will be different. That's the key point. Because to get into, because even if you are observant of Shabbat on a perfunctory way, then the challenge is to make sure that it's a day of growth, not just, dialing it in. There's always a challenge, okay? Having the, because you can easily fall into Shabbos being, even if you're not going to work and not answering your phone and not answering your emails and your texts, etc., you could just be a going to shul, eating and sleeping day with interspersed with certain schmoozing. Which we talked about that already, but that's an important part, but that's not the whole thing. I want to go on to get the second dimension because we're running out of time. Skip to what was I want to get. Let me fast forward to page 493, 16, which is actually what are the Siddur quotes. Vakasha, read.
The children of Israel shall observe the Shabbos, make the Shabbos an eternal covenant for the salvation. Between me and the children of Israel it is a sign forever that in the 6th-day period I shall make covenant, and on the 7th day be rested and.
Okay. Now, we said before, a covenant means is a deal, which is a multi-generational deal. What do you not see here?
Any sort of deal.
Any sort of deal. So therefore, this has to be a sign of the pre-existing covenant. Where's the last major covenant? Well, that was a covenant, but there was even since that time.
Oh,
Nope.
Oh, probably when they did the sacrifice, the Passover offering, the blood on the door, and leaving Egypt.
That was a mitzvah. That wasn't a covenant. That was a covenant, but that was 400 years earlier.
Do they circumcise? Sorry.
So let me share with you. Turn to page 403. The Jews are standing in camp by the mountain of Sinai, by Har Sinai. Okay, verse 5, page 403.
And now, if you hearken well and observe my covenant, you shall be to me the most beloved treasures of all things, mine of the entire world. You shall be to me a kingdom of ministers and a holy nation. These are the words that you shall speak.
Okay, so basically, that's the covenant of Sinai. So basically, now a couple chapters later, what becomes the primary expression of the covenant of Sinai?
Oh.
Keeping Shabbat. Because Shabbos embodies the entire Torah. I mean, put it in other words, really, and that's what and that's why there's many different degrees with the Torah measure. I mean, halakha measures various Shabbos observing to. There's, for example, there is in the reverse. There is violating Shabbos, but in public, versus not in public. Violating Shabbos in not in public is way better than in public, because here we're having a civilizational statement that God is the creator. We have a day that we demonstrate to the world, to ourselves, to our community, that God in fact exists, creates the universe, and is involved in our life, and that's called Shabbos. And then we're gonna not do our work and reflect on His creation. Okay. So if I walk in public desecrating, then I'm basically blowing off Judaism. It's like I'm walking down the Israeli Day Parade, flying a Palestinian flag. I'm not saluting Israel. I am giving Israel the finger. Okay, so that's what. So, but if a person is, I can't do it. I can't keep Shabbos, but I'm not overtly, doing it publicly. That's still a level. That's a level of observance. It's still a level of reverence. That's a measure.
You're recognizing it.
Yeah, it's huge. I'm a little hard. I can't do it. But I don't want to make a public policy statement by, walking down 86th Street, smoking a cigarette.
I think that happens a lot, but I always felt like the reason that people recognize Shabbos that way was because their social group is like Orthodox Jews, so they don't want anybody to know that they're
Okay.
actually like watching that.
All right. So right. That's not the right. That's not the really. I don't care about Shabbos. I just don't want to be. I don't want my stature to be reduced in the community. Okay, but people are people. That's it. I'm just saying. I'm talking about a more an objective framework. Even a person says, "Look, I can't keep Shabbos for whatever reason," but I don't want to publicly repudiate it. That's one level. Then is observing, let's say, I can't do all the rabbinic stuff, but I could do maybe the biblical Shabbos, which is far less. I could do a Kiddush. I could do a Friday night dinner. I can come, I can show up to shul. I can do different things. You know what I mean? That's why Shabbos, like, in MG, I think I can identify like 70 different gradations of Shabbos observance. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I wasn't referring to
No, but I'm saying, but Shabbos, because a reason why I mentioned by MG, because I'm talking about a community, because MG is a community of growth and development. People are on different parts of the continuum, and that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So my point being is that, but the reason is because it is the embodiment that are we the holy nation? Now this woman, Naama, by the way, she won 3 years after this in their championship game. She scored 40 points to take home the WNIT, the Women's National Championship. So there's another article by in the forward that she got a sakalacha. She asked her rabbi of her town in Israel that because part of playing basketball is what they call enjoyment, or if you enjoy playing ball, she can play ball. But then after she won, she walked home 2 miles. Right, she'll walk, she'll right. So she got it right. So she got a halacha that for her it's what they call oneg Shabbos, enjoying. She enjoys playing. It's not exercising would be a problem because it's like going schlepping yourself to the gym. You cannot do that on Shabbos. That's not oneg. You're not enjoying that. But if you enjoy, like my kids love ball, they're real ballers. Right.
There's nothing inherently. You're not breaking Shabbos by playing basketball.
If it's in an area, if it's a place where it's not carrying.
But so, like, I played tennis in college.
Okay.
If you're playing tennis, so they cannot do, from what I understand.
They're the same on the same issue.
I thought it was something breaking strings.
Is it really? How often do you break a string when you play ball?
I could break one every day.
If it's not,
I'm not
really,
going to go to fix it though.
No, but it's not. If it's really infrequent, and therefore, if every time you swing the ball, no, it'd be like you could play a couple matches, games, not happen. Let me get back to the thing. I don't think it's an issue, but I think there's room to. I'm not saying that. Again, I don't want to be. I'm not advocating that's what a person should spend their Shabbos doing. But oneg Shabbos is what you enjoy. So if you enjoy, playing ball, that's fine.
Every event is Shabbat. I want to not do it. I just want to once a year if I'm doing competition.
Right.
That's my thing. That's my whole goal. It's
right.
Saturday morning. What do you do?
Okay, so I don't want to get into all the because they're complicated issues. So anyway, but I just want to say that the key point here is not the halachic minutia right now. Well, there's a place for that. What I want to get to the point is that she was impressive and she got the great respect of her non-Jewish teammates because they saw that she has clear values here, and they respected and they accommodated her, and which was very nice of the team because there was a story which I didn't share with you of the national one of the team that won the national championship in Israel, I don't know, like 20 years ago, and the guy was and they're going to go to the Euro. In fact, Israel just won the Euro competition, by the way. One of the Tel Aviv teams. So the guy told coach, I can't play on Shabbos. You don't want to play on Shabbos. Okay? You can't come on. The guy would not let him go, even though there could be many other games which are not on Shabbos. He wouldn't let him play at all. So that was like but because of course he's the Jewish coach. But the non-Jewish coaches, we're giving you the kosher food, and we're gonna travel with you on Friday and on a Shabbos. We're gonna be completely thing. But the Israeli guys said, no, you can't, whatever.
So that's like how it is in work too.
Yes, it's very common. Very common. Yes. Non-Jews are frequently more accommodating.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a whole why that is literally a whole class why that is. But I'm not going there right now. Well, let me get to the main point. I want you guys to walk away with a couple points. Number one, so we have Shabbos has two dimensions. It's an os, it's a sign. It communicates a concept to the individual, to the community, to the civilization. One aspect is that it is by the very structure of the day, you see that God is trying to educate the Jewish people to develop because there's a day which you're not being distracted with work and you're doing these positive, growth-oriented activities, learning, prayer, community, clear, and that's obvious. People see that. People, it's very obvious to the observer. Second aspect is the covenant of covenant. But this actually becomes the measurement of the Jewish people fulfilling their destiny of being a holy nation. And that was, and I give credit to Naama over here that she really made the gesture, and she made that very, very clear, because Shabbos really is the goal of the week. Shabbos brings everything. In terms of Shabbos brings everything together. It has the learning component. It has it's a time dedicated to connect with Hashem. That really is the goal of Judaism. So therefore, Shabbos is a sign of the covenant. Larry, question. I feel it on your list. You got a question there.
I was thinking about something you said a while ago. During the summer camp this week.
Yes, at Camp Seneca Lake.
A lot of Judaism going on.
A whole lot of Judaism. Was it too much?
Yes, I mean, it's good and bad. It's good to push yourself. It's like a WrestleMania, Ask the Rabbi session,
Okay.
Like we just had an Ask the Rabbi session on couples. Now we're going to have one on
something else.
Does men?
Oh, is the couples Ask the Rabbi?
Usually a couple.
I know.
Your point, though.
I get conflicted because I have trouble saying no.
Okay.
When I disappoint Rabbi.
Right.
They get you in that trance,
Oh yeah, you got goaded into putting hands to Phil on Saturday morning. On Sunday morning.
Yeah, I'm like, my Rabbi, I'm leaving. I gotta go for Father's Day. And like an hour later, I'm like, all right, I'm taking off this.
Yeah.
It's like just the trance. No.
He was number 10.
You're not leaving.
You had to be number 10. Yeah. You can't say no to being number 10.
So what's your? I didn't understand really a question in that. This is
It's more of a statement.
what's a reflection, or what are you sharing?
That was just sharing.
He just doesn't want to be the 10th man for a minute.
Maybe a
That's what
lot.
I think he's saying.
What you're saying there is like when you're maybe not like used to being so immersed in it, and then you're immersed in it for a few days. It's like
Too much.
I just need to get back to like normalcy and what's familiar and like that.
Yeah.
There's but don't you? Okay. The bottom line is okay. By the way, let me share with you the imagery of the Chumash, which captures your point. Let me just capture your point. The Jewish people, after hearing the 10 Commandments, and they want to run, they had enough. They said they want to go back to their tents. They want to go into their personal world, their personal bubble, where they can be involved in their own personal interests and all this God stuff, because it was just too much. And Hashem said to Moshe, and you, my friend, will stay with me. They will go back to their tent because they've taken, it was too much for them, the Mount Sinai experience. It was like the 7-day spring retreat that just would never end, right? Hey, one more session there, Larry. So, and they said, no, I need to go back to my apartment.
So I guess my question is, what's the polite way, respectful to say no to a rabbi? Because I usually don't take that option. I'm just like, I want to pray again. I really.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
No, I'm.
So what's the polite way? I don't want to be, and I know I need to pray. I don't like.
Right.
I don't have a surplus.
Oh, I already talked this morning by myself.
I'm good for the week. I did Dove. I was there Shabbos. So, I'm good. Dove Shabbos. I'm good. I mean, I think I'm from the honest school. Like,
Yeah, but he's the 10th man.
okay, all right. So there's there's two dimensions. A lot of people who are not into, for example, in Israel, you find this phenomenon a lot. There's a big. Most Jews in Israel, like 80%, believe in God. 60% will do Kiddush, but they're not keeping halachic Shabbos. But many certainly have the Sephardic, which is the majority of Jewish people. If you like, they have 9 guys, and even if they're not daily daveners, and you call them, they'll always say yes. It's not because I value Tefilah. It's just that a Jew needs something. How can I say no? And that's not a value or a virtue. I would not want to not foster. It's a good thing. In other words, they're not helping us out because they're like, oh, I want to daven mincha. I don't want to daven mincha because before you showed up, I wasn't davening mincha. I didn't plan to daven mincha. I don't really care about mincha all that much, Rabbi. But the bottom line is, you got 9 people, and I don't, come on, help a brother out. It's more of that thing, and that's a very good a Jewish attitude of being a Gomel Chesed, of being kind and compassion is a core value. Is prior to Torah. That's a foundational position. Now, but then the bottom line is, doesn't mean you have to sit in a class, which is I can't do. Just I need to take a break. Just go. I need a break. Gotta go. Catch you later. Take care. Good.
You just feel like I got everything.
Whatever. That's it. It's because first of all, it's counter. By the way, it's counterproductive also. And you've heard it. I've said this like 12 times. I'll say it 13th time. It's counterproductive because if it's just like overload, and like you just don't want, then you just want to run for the door. What's the point of that? Yeah. That's bottom line. This is not Judaism I can take. I'm good. I'm good.
But if they're asking you to be the 10th guy.
Right. Okay. Fine. So you want to be the yutz. Okay. That's.
And I only say that because
They didn't ask me to do the 10th guy. They just counted tonight in front of me.
Oh.
So that's just guilty. Really?
Oh.
All right.
Masha.
Just a quick question. Please go over why the Shabbos is the sign of our covenant.
Yes, because so Shabbos is a focus. First of all, it is a day whose very character and fabric talks about our idea of God. God is a creator, also as Zecher al-Yitzis, God who took us out of Egypt. So basically, it's a day we're focusing on not something which is instrumental to God, but God Himself. That's what it's Shabbos, God Day. All right, to unvarnish it out. Then on that, part of the structure and the schedule is ordered to growth, kedusha growth. I'm not being distracted from my daily routine. I'm involved in prayer and learning, I'm at least encouraged to do that by the schedule. So that is Judaism. Shabbos is Judaism. That's why it's a big deal. That's why the measurement point, a person is a Shomer Shabbos to varying degrees is a very big deal because it measures you through that prism. You see, it includes everything. You see how it incorporates everything? Your concept of God, your relationship to God, and your growth program toward God. What's left? Not a whole lot. Everything else is going to be secondary to that. And also, you do it as a national phenomenon. And also, by the way, and this goes with something that Sarah pointed out, is that Ahad Am, who is a great Israeli poet and author. He said, not only did the Jews keep, no, it wasn't, I don't know the exact phrase, but it wasn't not so much that the Jews kept the Shabbos, but the Shabbos kept the Jews. And that really is really true. Now, not just simply sociologically, we're all, that allowed us to be unified, but it created a certain mentality of that, that if you're dedicating a seventh of your life toward this program, that does have a individual, communal, national, civilizational effect. It's massive, massive. So that's it. Now, again, I'm not saying, with a caveat, each Jew has to grow in their own journey. So I'm not. I'm just talking about. Right now we're talking about what Shabbos is. We're not talking about how does that apply to me necessarily. Those are two separate conversations. But okay, so those are two walkaway points. I just want to. We got 10 minutes left. Let's just add a little more to this. Interesting thing, and something I heard people like really being bothered by this. Look at page 378. You do not give it Hashem our God to the nations of the land, nor did you make it an heir to their king to the worship of the graven idols. And in this contentment, this uncircumcised shall not abide. But to you, Israel, your people, you have given it with love. There's a very big point that Shabbos is not for non-Jews. I mean, it's a little bit like snotty, a little bit. It comes across a little bit, a little bit exclusionary. And halachically, a person who is a ben Noah or a bat Noah, a person who is accepting upon themselves the seven mitzvahs of Noah, can on their own add other mitzvot. But they can keep a philosophical Shabbos, but they can't keep a strictly halachic Shabbos. You can't keep it. Now, my question to you is, why not?
I was going to say, is that for marriage? You guys do
Nope.
that,
It's a nope.
But if someone is in the process of converting, don't they need to sort of like
They basically keep what they'll be told by the conversion course is you'll keep all of Shabbos, and then you'll
You have to do
at
one
the point,
thing.
and then you'll violate Shabbos. You'll do one thing, you'll turn on a light, whatever, just to technically, luckily break it.
okay, because you can't just like one day.
No.
Correct. No, you cannot. You gotta ease on in there. Yeah, slowly but surely, ease on in.
That way, when you do convert, the next time you keep Shabbos, you're keeping it for real. It's not
Right.
like you're doing it.
But let me ask the big question here. But our Sidur is making a big thing like this Hashem gave you Jewish people with love, but he did give it to those non-Jews. So it's like seems a little bit a little racist. Well, it's like doesn't it's not politically correct. I'll just leave it like that. But what's the point there? Why not? The Jews can't and non-Jews can't on their own be a good ben or bat Noah. A person's observing the 7 laws of Noah, and they can add on if they can commit to it. They can add on more mitzvot if they want to. One of the most remarkable people that I know was one Ben Noach. He does daven once a day. He just changed the Amidah a little bit differently. He just says, blessed are you Hashem, God of the. It says, the God of the fathers, God of the forefathers of Israel. He just makes like a few words, and then he davens the rest of the Amidah.
Does he do other things like the kosher?
No,
He doesn't want to be Jewish.
no. Does not keep you Jewish. And quite frankly, I cannot judge, but if I could judge, I would think he's much on a higher level of most observant Jews. He gathers together with the group of B'nai Noach on a Saturday. Now they drive to their center and they learn, and they go shopping afterwards. So they're having a day. They recognize the day of Shabbos, and they're using it for spiritual. They're having a spiritual retreat, but they're not having a halachic Shabbos. It's not for them. Now the question is, why not? Why couldn't not a good Ben or Bat Noah on a discretionary basis, or Hashem did not give Shabbos to the nations of the world? Why not? Okay.
I think there's things that are like Boston, or any nation, or with Russia, nation.
Okay.
And children, right? So this set of group of people who we are descendants from, however we formulate that. The question is, I don't know that children is automatically being competitive anymore. I never assumed that ever.
Right.
It means I am good at math, someone else is good at verbalization, so I have my responsibility to do good in the world with math. I'm all good. I'm more
Right.
Okay. So to me, it feels like maybe that's the same thing. So there's a role in the world for different people.
Okay.
And the role of people who are not of the Jewish faith is not to take on the role of someone else.
Yeah, but specifically, that's what you're saying is correct. But specifically, what is being identified here? Shabbos.
Because that is the significant sign that you just mentioned that encompasses almost all of Jewishness. So that would be the progenitor of almost, taking out all the mitzvahs in the Torah, which they're not responsible for. Why would you do it?
Right. In other words, I agree with you. I'm saying that, like, Shabbos is in other words, let me make an analogy. If you do any kind of sport, whether it be tennis, basketball, whatever, as there are certain techniques that are helpful for the professional, but are not helpful for other people. So unless you have the whole Torah system, Shabbos is going to be just to be an overwhelming burden. You know what I'm saying? Or if you have a Kedusha program, Shabbos makes sense. But if you're not mandated to have a Kedusha lifestyle, just be not just to be civil. That's your goal as a Ben Noach. Be civil. Have a civil society. Don't kill each other. Just you're going for basic humanity level. And to have that program that which is uniquely about Kedusha building on a weekly basis would be ridiculous. You're not going to get a person who can't swing a bat, spend time working on, where they should hold the bat, all the various techniques that a person who's a professional baseball player who's, doing hitting practice 2 hours a day throughout the year is going to do. It's counterproductive. It'll just be a source of endless resentment and it won't produce any value. Shabbos works within a Torah system. And it's actually the culmination of the Torah system. So if you don't have the other elements, you're not obligated, you're not responsible for, or you're not to have these other elements. It's completely counterproductive. And it uniquely, and Shabbos, by the way, is highlighting the nature of the entire Torah system. So why are you going to have other people? It'll be all negative. They will not do it. They will not be able to do it personally. They will resent it. It's not going to help them, and you're going to distract the unique nature of this entire Shabbos system, which is given to the Jewish people who are not necessarily better. They have the opportunity to be better. They are responsible to bring this to the world. They've not, Jews do not want to necessarily be responsible. They don't want to be responsible. So that's the key point here. It's not helpful for them, and specifically, it's that. Signature event, if you will, that reflects the entire essence of what the message and goals of Judaism is. Shabbos puts everything together. It puts everything together. It focuses on what we think about God, how we relate to God, what we think is the good of life is all about, and also balancing. Here's the beautiful thing: take care of every level of the person. Their physical, 3 delicious meals; psychological, hanging out with friends and community. And spiritual, metaphysical, and dealing with more loftier conversations and different kinds of thoughts and perspectives. It deals with every level of the person. That's why it's really a gift. That's why it's perceived as a gift. So it has some aspects of a vacation, a leisure thing, but it's dealing with all parts of the person: their physical, their psychological, and their spiritual / metaphysical in one day. So that's really the uniqueness of it. So that's the basic idea. Let's just take something else here. And the goal, and then we say the people that sanctify the seventh, they will all be satisfied and delighted from your goodness. The seventh you found favor and sanctified it. Look how days you called it. Remember to the anticipation. I got 3 minutes left. Just to amplify that point, if you look at the beginning part of the thing, go on page 377. Moshe rejoiced in the gift of his portion, called him a faithful servant. Crown of splendor you placed on his head when he stood before you on Mount Sinai. He brought down 2 stones of tablets of his hand, on which are inscribed the observance of the Shabbat. So notice, but there wasn't there 9 other things on those tablets? Mm-hmm. Notice what he's highlighted. So Moshe, in a certain sense, he's bringing the entire Torah down to the Jewish people, but that mitzvah that really puts it all together, all the components, is really the Yom HaShabbos, and that's really the thing articulated here. Now Moshe can really notice he's on a higher level, so he can really be really happy about that. I don't think we're on that level to really rejoice about the fact that we have Shabbat. He can understand how this is transformational for the civilization from now to the end of till the time of the Mashiach and beyond, and he's happy about that because he sees that how that's a good for humanity as a totality. We don't have that broad perspective of Moshe Rabbeinu, but we allude to it, and that's the basic point. So if I put it down to a couple of bumper stickers, one is Shabbos has a oat dimension, a sign, communicates with the methodology and program of Shabbos to bring on more growth, kedusha. And 2, it's a covenant, becomes the sign of the fact that the Jews are made the deal with God to be the holy nation. And this is the vehicle of that. Those are the 2 elements there. There are more, but that's just and that basically we focus on Shabbos morning. And that's basically it. So now they'll take you from mumbling to meaning. Mumbling to meaning. That's what we're trying to go for. All right? So if you got the basic concept, you are way out of Mumblingville. And you're deep into meaning town. That's it. Go from mumbling to meaning. All right. I don't think I made that up, but I just thought of it. I'm sure somebody else thought of it. All right. Everything has to be reduced down to bumper stickers. That's it.
Well, with the 4